Playing Jedi Outcast is either like,
"Oh yeah, this is awesome! Die, space fascist scum! Yeah! Leaping around! I'm a Jedi! Yeah!"
or it's like,
"Please, game, have mercy. I beg of you. Stop asking me for identification, please. I beg of you."
okay, so Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast is basically over 20 years old now, and yet it's still a pretty solid game, and that's coming from someone who never played it growing up. It definitely has its fair share of problems, there's no doubt about it, but from what it does right, it's done remarkably well and has aged well in those respects. And even though I'd still say it's a mixed bag overall, playing through Jedi Outcast even made me go back and reappreciate Jedi Academy, which I certainly didn't see coming, and it speaks to the actual hidden qualities of Jedi Outcast. I played Outcast for the first time on the Switch, alongside the other Star Wars games I've recently reviewed, and I gotta say, so far, it's been the best of the bunch. The only thing Jedi Academy has over Outcast in my book is being able to play as a Rodian, and once you get used to this guy, Kyle Katarn, it's not so bad. Again, my dream of being able to play a Rodian is limited, but whatever, we'll take what we can get. Granted, you might notice Kyle is, well, you know, not the best protagonist ever.
It'll do.
At least in my opinion, but he's gone through growth in other games I haven't played yet, like Mysteries of the Sith or whatever it's called, so I guess I'll give him the pass again for this game, you know, like I did in my review of Outcast, but it's okay, you know, he's cool.
Never trust a bartender with bad grammar.
Sure, I'd much rather play as Luke Skywalker, you know, the protagonist of much of the entire franchise, and, you know, who also has many scenes in this game that makes me think his adventures are more cool and interesting, but whatever, I guess we're playing with Kyle.
You're not coming along?
I'm afraid not. I have pressing business of my own to attend to.
Even then, okay, you know, Kyle, he's not terrible. You could make the argument he goes through an arc in this game. Thinking his love interest is dead, he goes through the classic Jedi journey of understanding that rage and anger blind one from balance and peace.
Jan is dead. My anger is all I have left.
The plot otherwise is okay. You play as Kyle, and yes, his name is Kyle, who after becoming a Jedi outcast, quote unquote, is off in the galaxy with Jan, serving the forces of the New Republic in kind of a casual bounty hunter style way.
I hate it when you say troubling.
When boom, one of Luke Skywalker's former students, Desan, turns evil and begins an operation to attack the Jedi forces and bring back the Sith Empire.
Mad, and delivered the Valley of the Jedi into our hands.
Say what you will about the dark side being evil and often causing its own demise, but it sure seems hard to keep it down for very long.
Blast them, Kyle!
Kyle Katarn? You're the legendary hero who destroyed Jarek at the Valley of the Jedi? You look like nothing more than a bantha herder.
After a bit of scuffling, wherein which Kyle has basically no force powers and can barely clear half a foot with his jumps, Kyle goes back to a force temple, has some daddy issues resurface, gains back his ability to jump more than 5 inches, and heads off to get his lightsaber back. So once he's back to the Jedi Academy, Luke tries to give him the old, you know, quote unquote, listen to me bro, I'm the main character of this entire universe kind of level advice, but Kyle seemingly only has blood on his mind.
I know what I'm doing, Skywalker.
From that point forward, it's a journey through various environments and planets, many of which can kind of be repetitive and a little confusing to navigate at times. Like, the level designs are clearly not the highlight of the game. There are plenty of times where they leave the player with absolutely no direction or guidance to know where to go next. How lovely. Let's not forget about brutally annoying enemy placements, and in general choices to just make the game harder. Great. Star Wars games are notorious for being overly hard and even arguably too long when it comes to campaign length, and it's likely because LucasArts wanted to make sure players were more than encouraged to purchase the full game, rather than just to be able to beat it within a rental period, because, you know, renting games used to be much more popular back when this game and many earlier Star Wars games were released. Definitely makes for a more annoying overall experience, even on the lower difficulty. Luckily enough, you can save basically wherever and whenever you want, so that makes things much easier. Much like Jedi Academy, attempting to play exclusively moving from checkpoint to checkpoint will cause heat stroke from how boiling angry it will make average players. Snipers that can kill you almost instantly, tough enemy dark side Jedi, and a good amount more. It's full of enemies and scenarios that are rather difficult. Again, even on lower difficulties, isn't that just nice? It's a tough one, but once all the force powers become well acquainted with and the skills with the lightsaber and other weapons grow, you'll be able to fight off challenges with Kyle relatively admirably. They also give you force lightning to use in this one, which is still just fun as absolute hell to use, even if it drains your force meter pretty quickly. There are some use the force sequences that grinded my gears a bit, especially the parts where force speed is necessary, but for the most part, it's usually pretty fun to wield the most powerful tool of any Jedi. The lightsaber fights are fun, and so are many of the firefights, with many sniping sequences being tolerable, and risks for using bigger and more powerful blasters making the risk reward higher in later levels. Pro tip though, do not fire missiles at enemy dark side force users. Just don't. Even environmental hazards, while they do remain annoying the whole way through, can be overcome with patience. Kyle is no slouch and goes through some pretty fun set pieces and levels in this game in order to stop Desan and Tavion. He has a fun bar fight sequence, meets up with and saves a fan favorite character, Lando Calrissian.
Come on, let's go. You can buy some flowers on Besman.
And has some pretty awesome fights against Tavion and ultimately Desan.
You desire this woman? Come, take her.
While some levels do trudge and make for rather frustrating times, the overall experience is fun, and its use of the John Williams score throughout basically makes even the slower points still pretty good. Sure, the level designs can sometimes feel almost intentionally aimless, but if you try your best to stay attuned to where the player could possibly go next, players should usually be able to make their way through the levels, if eventually, and again with enough determination to just see through the slow points. In conclusion, it's a fun time, much more fun than Jedi Academy, but still within the same realm of being enjoyable despite some rather noticeable design flaws and harsh difficulty spikes.
You will die!
Even though my ideal Star Wars Jedi Knight games would be games that feature more prominent characters like, I don't know, a Luke Skywalker post-Episode 6 game. Like, that seems kind of obvious to me.
And all of them will have force powers?
Yes, but we've got an advantage due to our training and discipline.
Or a game about a young Count Dooku, where we eventually see him turn to the dark side. Or maybe a pre-Episode 1 Mace Windu game. What we got in the Jedi Knight series of games is not those things, but it's fine enough. Kyle is, okay, and so is Jedi Outcast. If you're willing to put up with some of the usual hurdles of finishing a Star Wars game campaign, I'd say you'll have a decent enough time with Outcast. It holds up well on Switch, and the remastering of the game makes it worth seeing, even if you've played it previously on GameCube or PC back in the day. Check it out if it looks like it interests you.
Luke,
I know. I'll be happy to hold your lightsaber for safekeeping.
No, I think I'll keep it.
Ha! I knew it! Lando owes me 5 credits.